What's going on, guys? Julian here again from Prepare for Performance, bringing another educational coaching video on. Today we're going to talk about 5 exercises, single leg movements that I believe all athletes should be incorporating in their program throughout the year. I think single leg movements are probably the best for athletes because a lot of the time, most athletes are, when they're running, jumping, landing, sprinting, ice skating, taking off, whatever. They're pushing off or jumping or whatever off a single leg. I'm not saying that they should not be doing double leg movements. I just think single leg movements are very important to incorporate more often than not at all. They help with asymmetry. I mean, obviously, we're not going to be exactly perfectly strong on both sides, but if you can if you can close the percentage of not as strong on one leg versus the other, then that's a good thing. That there's a lot of data and a lot of research that talks about the closer in strength the two legs are, there is a lower risk of injury. Again, lower risk of injury doesn't mean that you are not going to get injured. Again, injury happens, and sometimes we just don't know why it happens, how it happens. It just happens. Too many variables and factors play in, but that's a whole nother video. So today, again, like I said, we're going to talk about 5 movements I think all athletes should incorporate into their program. First one we're going to talk about is the rear foot elevated. I'm going to show you the Goblet version. There is many versions of this. You can do barbell, you can do 2 kettlebells, you can do 2 dumbbells, you can do same side, you can do contralateral. Again, everything is dependent on what programming is in the year that it is for that movement, okay? I think that you should always be incorporating single leg no matter what time of year. The sets and reps really depends on the time of year, if it's in season, off season, preseason. So there's many factors in what you should be doing, but I'm just going to generally speak about 5 movements I think all athletes should be incorporating. So rear foot elevated, again, if you have a box, if you have one of these pad things, I just sit on it, step out, bring this up here so I know how far away this foot should be from the rack, and then go straight down. Try and get this knee as close to the ground as possible, but not touching the ground. Obviously, I'm going to do wherever sets and reps that are programmed, and then move on to whatever else I have in my program. Second movement I'm going to do is a single leg RDL. I'm going to do the contralateral version of it. Obviously, you can do 2 kettlebells, 2 dumbbells. The contralateral version really works on stability on the leg that's down. A lot of glute med in this one, hamstring, glutes. If you do same side, I typically do same side with individuals that are getting used to this movement. But you can also put a lot of weight on the same side because that's the leg that's down, and you can probably do a lot more weight, so it can be a little bit more strength focused versus here we're working more on some stability focus. Again, really focusing on points of contact on the big toe, small toe, or pinky toe and heel. Nice and controlled. Drive this knee forward a little bit, push back, reach back with back foot, come up. Try not to let this outside hip rotate out. So you really want to get some good internal rotation Sometimes it can be reinforced by like kind of crossing over, and this will stay flat in your back and you won't feel it as much in your lower back. The next one is a crossover step up. Obviously the height of the box, bench, whatever you're using is going to play a role in how many sets and reps you're doing. If it's a lower box, you could probably do a heavier step up or heavier weight because you don't have to go as far. If it's a little bit higher, you can probably go less weight, more reps, work on maybe some hypertrophy. But I'm just going to show you this from here. So you're going to step across, drive through, okay, and then step back down. Again, you're going to do whatever sets and reps, and then you're going to switch, do the same thing on the other side. Step back down, okay. This actually is really good for a little bit of a groin, a little bit outside the hip as well. The next one is very glute and posterior chain. So this is a curtsy. I think this is a great movement. It's a lot of the outside musculature or glute med, obviously still a lot of quad, but you don't want this knee to go out too much. You want to try to keep this in line with your knee, foot, and then you're going to switch and do the same on the other side. And the last one, I always incorporate some frontal plane movements into my programs with my athletes. They do not get a lot of frontal plane movement, so going side to side. So I'm just going to coach the goblet lateral squat. So you're going to obviously hold it up here. You're going to sit back into your heel, drive your hip back, and come back up. You can do, same side where you really fatigue that quad, or you can do the other side. Again, all these movements are going to be great for any athletes. There's more advanced movements I can incorporate, but these are simple movements that most kids, young athletes of all ages, no matter what, can be progressively overloaded, challenged, and there's many different methods and variations that can be used to help them as they either go through in-season, off-season, whatever, whenever or wherever they are in their, the time of year that they are in. So again, that can be in-season, off-season, pre-season, whatever. But I just wanted to incorporate and show 5 movements that I think that all athletes should be incorporating into their lower body workouts. But I also would say that most kids should be doing, 2 to 3 workouts a week in the off season, 1 to 2 workouts a week in the in season, and then as they season ends and get back into a program, getting right back into that 2 to 3 frequency will be good for them. Full body is super, super important. Again, you don't just isolate, certain movements in a game. The whole body works together. So incorporating all that kind of stuff is super important. So hope this helps. Hope this makes sense. If you have questions, comments, concerns, click the link below. You can contact me, comment below if you find this very helpful. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace.